Hi everybody, we are here today to discuss the coronavirus and the housing market specifically. You see, we both graduated from FIU with degrees in real estate, and so this is what we are qualified to speak about.
We are not here to talk about a recession or even an economic downturn. Big companies have already came out, such as Bloomberg and Bank of America, predicting that we will inevitably be going into a recession.
Which brings us to our first point. A recession does not equate to a housing crisis or even a decrease in property values.
Since 1980, there have been 5 recessions in the United States, and while the numbers may vary by source, experts are all in agreement that property values actually increased in 3 of these 5 recessions.
Now, the recession of 1990 had a plethora of factors ranging from fear of war, spike in oil costs, and a lack of consumer confidence since reliable information was not available like it is today. And yet, housing prices only decreased between 1 to 3%.
The other recession that caused a significant decline in housing prices is fresh on everyone's memory since it was in 2008. First, it is worth noting that property values declined significantly only because the recession itself was caused by the housing market. The factors are currently much different today than they were in 2008. Homeowners, for example, have much more equity. There is limited inventory available out there, and not only do you see lending requirements being much more stringent than they once were, there has also been a sharp decline in subprime mortgages.
Thankfully, during this pandemic, we have seen much more economic incentives to further mitigate the risk of a housing crisis. Just last week, we saw foreclosures halted by HUD and Federal Reserve rates being cut to zero, amongst other economic incentives implemented similar to the last recession.
Now, we know all the headlines say home sales will drop, and they will, but don't mistake home sales for home values. Right now, there are millions of people in quarantine who are restricted from viewing their future home, so of course, there will be less sales. Aside from those quarantined, many have been left jobless or forced to tap into their savings in order to survive. This will, in turn, dramatically cut down the pool of buyers that were previously available in the market.
So, how will this affect the homes available?
Which is a great question. Besides the typical ongoing reasons consumers sell their homes, such as relocation, upgrading, downsize, divorce, we will expect to see even more property listed on the market as consumer confidence lowers with the instability of the economy.
So, now you know the facts. Due to the lack of available buyers in the market and steady increase of sellers, we are predicting that the market is going to shift from a seller's market to one favored more towards buyers. This simply means there are more sellers than buyers in the market and that there will be less bidding wars, making it easier for buyers to continue their purchases.
The market will ultimately stabilize, so what will happen to home values, you may ask?
Well, in 2019, we saw an increase in median value slightly above 8%. And while the same increase is not expected, we are predicting a much slower increase in values.
And most importantly, prices will not be falling